Welcome to a very special Saturday edition. We're gonna get some work in. I'm redeeming myself for missing Thursday. I just could not make it back in time. So we're gonna do Saturday, which is today. It's probably gonna be a little light as far as attendance. I'm not actually gonna take attendance today, but it's more so just to get these problems out because I have the problems ready to go, so I want to work on them, and people afterwards can come back and watch the VOD, and that's kind of the point of this. So if you guys do have any questions or anything like that, we can of course go over it, but I'm probably just going to jump into these problems and just go through them pretty quickly, and then maybe I'll cut it up and like release it as a VOD. But that's the point of the stream today. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's see. Let me get this paper ready. And if there is anything specifically you want to work on, just let me know. Otherwise, we're just gonna be going through these math problems, which I think are pretty good problems, but we will have to see. Okay. And plus my internet is giving me some grief. Alright, let me get this curtain going here. Beautiful. Okay, so that's the first problem. But like I said, if there is something you want to work on, just let me know. Let's see, where should we start? Wait a minute. Am I the only one on this stream right now? Do I have 0 attendance? Maybe I should just record a video. Oh, okay, we got Feeling Blue. Hey Blue. Well, welcome. You're going to get a very personalized session today. If there is something you want to work on, just let me know, and I got you. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through these problems so that I can chop it up into a VOD later. So let's get started. Let's get started with this guy right here. Maybe I should zoom in just a little bit. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. So x to the third, y, z to the negative fourth, over x to the negative second, y to the negative second, z to the negative second. In the following expression, x is 2, y is 3, and z is 4. What is the value of the expression? Oh, what's up, Raman? What's up, Winfast? I'm gonna give you like 30 more seconds on this one. Oh, enjoy your pizza, my man. The key to this problem is how to do these negative exponents. Okay, so we do have an answer in here, so we're gonna give Abrar his due. But the very simple explanation on negative exponents is you just flip them over the fraction. So this x to the negative second goes to the numerator as x to the positive second. So if I were to rewrite this, it'd be n x to the third times x to the second times y to the first times y to the second. And it will end up being a fraction because that z to the second goes to the numerator, and that z to the negative fourth in the numerator drops down to the denominator, and that's it. And you can plug in now, but you're going to have a hard time. Let's just do some canceling out. So that is going to turn to z to the second here. Oh, wow, it's like really dark. My light even on? Oh, I know. Hold up. All right, much better. So that's actually going to be a z to the second. And what we end up with is x to the fifth, y to the third, over z to the second. And now we can plug in, if you want to, 2 to the fifth times 3 to the third over 4 squared. And we're probably going to keep that 4 squared the way it is, but we can simplify it even more because 2 to the fifth, as you know, is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 5 times. And then we can even just do this, just to really show where we can kind of, and that 4 is a 4 times 4. So now we can cancel off even more because we know that 2 times 2 is 4. So get rid of that 4, get rid of that 4. Get rid of this 4, get rid of that 4. So what we're left with is 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. And that's it. 3 times 3 is 9. All right. Let's actually do 9 here, 6 here, 9 times 6, 54. That's our answer. Make sense? Okay. So, yes, this can be a little tricky, but as long as you get the negative exponents right, then you'll be okay. Let me just double check my work. Oh, you read 3 to the 3 is 3 times 3. Yeah, brutal. Brutal. Yep, then you would have been right, bro. So you were actually extremely close, Abrar. It's just that last, you just didn't secure the bag at the last minute, but you know, we've all been there. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, this is a chill one. Next, 2x plus 3y equals 9, 7x plus y equals negative 16. What's the value of x plus y? Why didn't I stream on Thursday? I just wasn't feeling it. I guess is the best answer. I was like off. So I was like, I'm just gonna take a little bit of moment to myself here. What's up, better? I'm just gonna give you like 30 more seconds. Oh, Blue. What happened to you? Change your answer. What's up, Ariba? Sorry, bro. We'll keep in mind that you changed your answer. We'll keep in mind. Okay, so I have a question for you, Blue. How did you solve this? Did you solve this by subtracting the two equations or solving for y? That's my question. Because I think that that's the easiest ways to do the subtraction. Personally, I think that's the easiest way. So let's show the easiest way first. Feel like you showed this type of question while you're going through. Yes. Okay, so win fast. I'll show you how to do this. So the key, whenever you have a system of equations, is you have two things that are equal and balanced and totally chill. So if I have 1 plus 1 equals 2, and I also have 2 plus 2 equals 4, I can do a lot of different things. I could subtract this bottom equation from the top equation. So what do I get? 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And 2 minus 4 is negative 2. And then we have another very true equation. Yes, negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So that's the concept we're going to do, but we're going to multiply this bottom equation by 3. The top equation stays the same. And I'm going to multiply the entire bottom equation by 3. Oh man, 16 times 3. Just want to make sure. Great. And that's going to be negative. Chill. So now we can subtract this bottom equation from the top equation. So that would be negative 19x and 9 minus a negative 48. So that's the same thing as 9 plus 48. Great. Good thing 19 goes into 57, right guys? I think it goes 3 times. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So if we divide both by negative 19, x is going to equal a negative 3. And so we have our x value. We're not done yet. We need to solve for y. So let's plug it in to this bottom equation here. Negative 3 times 7 is negative 21 plus y equals a negative 16. We're going to add 21 to each side. Y equals 5. Beautiful. So we have our x, we have our y. What is the value of x plus y? 2. That's the value. That is the value of x plus y. X plus y equals 2. That's it. Thoughts, surprises, delights? I don't think I made any mistakes here, did I? Nope. Everything looks beautiful. Everything looks beautiful. And we can even actually check this too. So let's plug it into the top equation. If x is negative 3, that'd be 2 times negative 3 plus 3 times 5 equals 9. That'd be negative 6 plus 15. Does that equal 9? Yeah, it does. So that's beautiful. We actually are good to go here. So yeah, that's it. Are we only doing math today? Yeah, unless there is something you want to work on in English, we could do that, or ELA, like commas or something, we can do that. All right, cool. So that's how you do it. And so that's how I would recommend that you do these systems of equations. That seems to be the easiest, is to kind of multiply and get rid of one. Yes, there is another way. Hold on, let me show you the other way, just in case it just becomes really painful for you. The other way to do this is to solve for y. So in this case, y equals negative 16 minus 7x. If we subtract 7x from each side, that's what we get. And so this is the value of y, and we can plug that in. So let's just do the top equation, 2x plus 3y equals 9. We know what y equals, so we could say 2x plus 3, and what does y equal? Is that negative 16 minus 7x equals 9. And then, yes, you can just distribute all of this and have a great time, and you'll only have x's. 48 minus 21x equals 9. So that's negative 19x minus 48 equals 9. And then you can just go through and solve it eventually. We're going to get something actually very similar to what we got before. Yep, and then we're going to get divide by negative 19, divide by negative 19, x equals negative 3, exactly the same as before. So you can isolate for a variable and plug it in, or you can multiply the equations so that when you either add or subtract them, it drops out. So that system of equations, those are the two ways you can go about it, whatever one is easier for you. Okay, here we go. A square with sides of x has an area of y feet squared. If x is halved, what percentage of the previous area is the new area? All right, I'll give you a break, Winfast. We are not given a measurement of x, better. We are not given a measurement of x. So I'll give you a little bit more, but there are two ways you can do this. The first is because they don't give us a number for what x is, you can work with x's, or you can just pick a number. So 100%. So you can use x's or you can pick a number. Like let's just say x is 4. So the area for this is y, and the area for this is going to be 16. Now, if we were to half it, and this is now x over 2, and this is now x over 2, the area is going to be, I guess I could also say that this equals x squared. The area is going to be, we don't know, but it's going to be x squared over 4 because length times width. And so if the original area x squared equals y, x squared divided by 4 is going to equal that y area divided by 4. I hope that makes sense. So we really are just a fourth of what our previous area is. So yeah, 25% is it. But if you didn't want to deal with the variables, you can just choose a plugged number. So this would be 2, and this would be 2, and the area would be 4. And 4 is 1/4 of 16. So that is the way that you can solve it using just numbers, or if you want to use the variables, great. Doesn't matter. I've said it before, I truly do not care how you get a right answer. As long as you get the right answer, you're good. So don't be freaked out if they don't give you measurements. If they don't give you any measurements, you can choose what they are. Um, let's see. Okay, so my pen was running out of the ink, but I think you guys can still read this. Oh, okay. A train driven by Dafon is traveling 5 miles an hour. After the first hour, Dafon increases the speed by 3 miles per hour. After the second hour, he does the same thing. How many miles has he traveled at the end of the third hour? Yeah, that is a slow train. I didn't even think of that. Okay, so it seems like you guys are kind of circling the right answer pretty quickly here. Really, really nicely done. So for the first hour, 5 miles per hour. So for 1 hour, you go 5 miles. And then the next is going to be 8, and then the next is going to be 11. So we add these up. That's it. Easy peasy. Yeah, I think in my head, this problem was a lot harder, but I just worded it in such a way that made it really easy. But you guys crushed it, so we don't need to go over that. Okay, so I did spill some coffee on this one. You're gonna have to forgive the kind of wretched splotch marks on this. Um, I put it on my desk and there was coffee stains. I feel like I'm good at math, but I make a lot of dumb mistakes. Sometimes like not seeing a negative. So feeling blue. Go to, I don't know if this game will work on your computer, but highly recommend going to tylertutor.com and playing a game called Deep Mine. Um, This is very, very good to help your consistency with math. Okay, let's go to the question. For the equation x squared plus 7x minus 18 equals 0, only positive values for x are not allowed. What is a possible value for x? Oh, what's up, Sweaty? I'll give you like 30 more seconds on this one. All right, see you win fast. All right, so let's go over this question. The reason I gave you answer choices on this one is because you're not necessarily going to have to factor quadratic equations. That's what this is. If you need to look it up, factoring quadratic equations. I think that's what it's called. But you're just going to plug in the answers and see which one gets you the right. Now, positive values for x are not allowed, so better you got tricked. Because that is a positive value for x. We can literally get rid of these first two because they're positive, and positive values for x are not allowed. So we're just going to plug in the remaining two and see what we get. Let's plug in -2. So -2 squared plus 7 times -2 minus 18 needs to equal 0 for this equation to be true. Hold on, let me just a little bit of brightness there. So negative times a negative, which is something squared, is going to be 4. Minus 14 minus 18, does that equal 0? Doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to be a really big negative number. 4 minus 14 is -12. I didn't say that. Is -10 minus 18. Does that equal 0? -28. That does not equal 0. So we know that -2 is not an answer. So let's plug in -9. -9 squared plus 7 times -9 minus 18. Does that equal 0? This is 81. This is minus 63 minus 18. Does that equal 0? Let's do this minus 63 to get more negative. Let's see how negative it gets. So we're going to add up these negative numbers since we're on that side. 6, 7, 8, 81. And of course it's negative. So 81 minus 81, does that equal 0? I mean, hopefully you're ahead of the curve. 0 equals 0. So yeah, D is actually our answer there. Really, really nice. So just plug them in. That's why I gave you the answer choices. Now, if you were to factor this because you're a Chad, it would be x plus 2, or actually rather, it would be x plus 9 times x minus 2 equals 0. And so that might be why some people thought that x could equal 2 with what Better did. -2 if you just took the factor and thought that that was the answer. But yeah, that's how this goes. Let's keep moving. Some of these questions are good. Some of them are like, we'll save them for later. Oh, okay, this is a good one. Let's do some work with units. 3 seconds times 32 feet per second squared. The time spent in the air times the value for the speed of gravity translates to the object's final speed. After 3 seconds, what is the object's final speed? What's up, Heyo? So really, this is how comfortable are you working with, what are they called? What are they called? units of measurement. That is really all this is measuring. So first, let's take a look at this 32 feet a second squared. Another way to write that would be 32 feet over seconds squared. If you're confused, man, it's still so bright. It just got really bright outside my place. If you're confused with how to get there, I could show you, but it's a little bit longer to show you guys. Just put in the chat if you really want me to show you how I got this from this. It, it is, trust me. And then we're going to multiply that by 3 seconds over 1, which is you can do any day of the week. Now, notice our second here and our second squared here. We can just eliminate this second and eliminate the squared part of it because s times s, we have 2 s's there, and we can get rid of one of them. And so really that 3 times 32 is 96 feet, and we are left unit-wise with just an s down below, 1s. So it's 96 feet per second. Really, really nice. Just keep in mind that when you have units of measurement, you're probably going to be crossing them off. So like if I'm going, let's say 7 miles per hour, and I want to know how far I go in 6 hours, right? That's why we end up with miles, because this 6 hours and this hour both get crossed out. So it's just 6 times 7 miles. And that's why we get the answer in miles. So just keep that in mind when you're using units of measurement. It'll be more so in physics. You have a question. Will geometry proofs and like compass direction be on the 9th grade SHSAT in general? And also will standard deviation? Standard deviation might be referenced, but you won't have to calculate it. Compass direction, probably not. Maybe as like a trick question, but just know that north is south and west is to the left. Just think that New Jersey is west of New York, if that helps. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's that. All right, you guys crushed that. I thought that'd be more interesting than it was, but it really wasn't. All right, here we go. How many unique prime factors does 4,620 have? What about right triangle word problems? Definitely, 100%. Yep. Right triangle word problems, 100%. Nosing in. What's up, bro? All right, let's go through this. If you're still working, keep doing your thing. 4620, we are looking for unique factors. I see that 0 on the end, and I can't help myself. That's going to be 2, and that's going to be 5. What we're left with is 462. It ends in a 2, and then once again, I can't help myself. So that's going to be 2 and 231. 231 might look like a tough number to find a prime factor for, but if you add 2 to 3, that's 5. Add another one, that's 6. So because of all of these three numbers adding up to a number that could be divided by 6, or rather, could be divided by 3, we can actually go in there and just divide this 231 by 3. And that's a little trick. Add up the digits. If that can be divided by 3, then you are good to go. That's going to be 7, 21, 21, and that's going to be 7. So we have a 3 and we have a 77. And unless you're like negative IQ, you know that that's 7 and that's 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Rahman and Better. What's up, Anarchia? So, interestingly enough, Rahman and Better are correct. And the key here, unique. That's it. And yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but this 2 shows up twice. So it's no longer a unique factor. Our unique factors are 2, 5, 3, 7, and 11. Those are our unique factors. So you've been tricked. You've been tricked. That's why this problem is difficult. You counted 10. Well, then you would have gotten 5 Windfast. How'd you get 6? You would have had 10, 2, 3, 7, and 11. You would have had 5. How'd you get 6 if you counted 10? What does unique mean? Oh, come on, bro. What does unique mean? I don't know. I forgot. I forget. Someone help me. I'm dumb. I forget. Okay. You've never heard of unique? Well, it's not like necessarily a math term, but unique means different than the others. It means different type. So if I have 2 unique types of skateboards, I have like a longboard and a normal skateboard. Those would be 2 unique types. Yeah, something to keep in mind. Okay. All right. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. The absolute value of x divided by 1 equals y. If y is a rational number, what is the smallest value the absolute value of x can be? Oh yeah. Oh no. Kool-Aid man. Man, that was like a meme for like a long time. Just like the Kool-Aid man. But then the brand started to do it. And it was just like, what happened? Okay, so let's go over this, guys. This is pretty much just a vocabulary question. What is a rational number? And I think Heyo put it can be represented as a ratio, but I think it really is, can it be evenly divided? Um, like if you have 2.5 divided by 1, it's not going to it's not gonna be, you're going to get 2.5. You're going to get a partial number. So really it's whole numbers that can be represented as a fraction. The key here is it going to be 1 or is it going to be 0? You guys didn't go negative, so you're good to go. But the big question is 0 over 1, is that rational? Can we rationalize it? 0 divided by 1. 0 divided by 1. How many times does 1 go into 0? 0 times. 0, 0. We're done with the division problem because obviously that's subtraction. That's fine. That's good. Where we're going to get irrational number, or not irrational, we're going to get error is if you were to do 1 divided by 0. That's where you're going to get into trouble here. Let me separate these. Because if you do 1 divided by 0, how many times does 0 fit into 1? I mean, I could do 7 and be 0, and we're left with 1. I could do 8, and we'd still be left with 1. So really, there is no satisfaction for this whatsoever. This is this does not work. This is an error. Whereas if you have 0 divided by 1, you'll get 0. So yeah, 0 is actually the correct answer here. Just to keep in mind, that is rational. That is rational. So a little bit of vocabulary for you there. Let's see. Okay, let's get into some geometry. The can opening has a circumference, spelt wrong on purpose, of 10 pi inches. Using pi as 3.14, how tall would the can have to be to fit 157 cubic inches of slop? Got a kid. So my kid of slop. All right, I'm going to close my blinds and get some more coffee. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's go over this. So we do have to take a couple steps here. Circumference is pi times diameter, or 2 pi r. So let's do 2 pi r. 2 pi r is going to equal 10 pi inches across. These pi's will cancel out if we divide pi by each side, so 2r equals 10. The radius is 5. So let's find out what the area, I'll put this last here. So the area of this is going to be, we're going to put it into pi r squared. So the area of this opening is 25 pi. Inches squared, okay? So that's going to be the area of our opening or our base. And when we're dealing with volume, we're dealing with base times height. You could call that length times width times height, but if you have the base and you have the area of the base and you multiply by the height, that's going to be your volume. So here is our, I guess we could do the 3.14 now, right? Let's do the 3.14 now. So 3.14 times 25. 27, 15, kind of looks scuffed, but 8, 2, 6, 0, 15, 8. And then we have 2 decimal places, 78.4. So the area, AKA, is 78.5. I think I said 4, but I don't know what I'm doing. Great. So we have our base times height equals the volume. The volume that we want to hold with our collection of slop is 157. The height, we don't know what it's going to be, but we do know what the base is, which is 78.5. So that's it. We just do our division here and we divide both sides by 78.5. Now, you may be a supersized genius and you may say, wow, that 157 sure looks like twice the size of 78.5. You would be right. And I'll just add them together just to show you that it is times 2, 0, obviously, 617, and 157.0. So that's going to be our answer is h times 2. That's it. So really, really nice to Sweaty and Blue on this one. Hard problem, very hard problem. I'd be interested to see how you guys got 7 and 5. You did 10 times 3.14, then 157 divided by, okay. Yeah, you would have been good if that was area and not circumference nosing in, you would have been right on the money, bro. Yep. Oh, you thought 10 pi was the area. Yeah, dude, 10 pi is the circumference. So you did have to do that. Yep, that makes total sense. All right, let's chill. Hard problem though. Just keep in mind, base times height equals volume, and just to double check what you're dealing with. But learn from your mistakes. Let's keep moving. I only have a couple more to go. Let's do the easy one, and we'll end on a kind of a tricky one. So here's the easy one. Which of the following numbers has the most amount of multiples inside the integers 0 through 100? You got to multiply the 3.14. Ah, that's funny, actually. Yeah, that's why. Okay. All right. Okay, good job. I think everybody mostly got it. Nose and ends on it too. So I know Better is like malding right now. So mad. It's the smallest number. Just pick the smallest number. Just pick the smallest number. That's gonna have the most multiples. That's it. It doesn't get more complicated than that. I mean, I could prove it to you, but guys, just pick the smallest number. Like, let's go up to 12. 3 goes in 4 times. 4 only goes in 3 times. That's your answer right there. 5 only goes in twice. 7 only goes in once. So, 3 is going to multiply a lot more. Uh, just multiply them all by 10 and then see how far along you are. So, that's it. I think better is molding. Okay, last one. I think. What is the opposite number of x when negative x times the quantity of or when negative times the quantity of negative x equals negative y? So what is the opposite number of x when negative x equals negative y? I actually think I do have. No, I think that is all the problems actually. Okay, so yeah, everybody got this one right actually. This problem needs a reworking. I thought that this was gonna like throw some people, but it threw 0 people. So this one definitely will need a reworking. I was hoping just to kind of flood the zone with negatives and to make you kind of second guess things. You know what I should have done? You know what I should have done? I should have changed this top answer. I should have changed this top answer to Y. That would have been really good. I did not cook, no. This is like ramen. So just think of it like a little bit of a freebie. A little bit of a freebie for the homies. All right, so those are all the prepared questions that I have for you guys. Is there anything that you would like to work on, or you have questions about concepts you have questions about that we could discuss very quickly before I log out? Let's see. Just as a reminder, if you're looking to work more, highly recommend going to my website. It is not a phishing website. You don't have to give any of your information. But go to tylertutor.com. Highly recommend playing DeepMind. Really recommend that as far as getting your skill up. The website looks pretty good. Okay, cool. Because when I log onto it, it tells me that like it's a unsecured website, and to like I have to click that I wish to proceed. I'm like, dude, it's my website. Tyler, I have a question. How can you tell which is opposing, logical, or addition transition words? What is the trick to that? That's a good question. I think I give examples in my video. What is the example I use for that? How do I get the ELA practice test? I don't have. I have to like dig it up. I have to like find it. I just haven't looked. But transition words and what Sweaty Kid is referring to is you may have a sentence that's like, um, actually, let me be very clear about this example so that there's no confusion here. Um, Okay, so this is an example of where you will need a correct transition word. Uh, this would be the example of an opposing transition word, where you would use the words but, or however, or nonetheless, or on the other hand. That's what's considered opposing. And then you have additive, where you can say, two things that are along the same lines. And this would be the example of a additive transition word. It's taking one vibe and it's adding a very similar vibe to it. Um, and then you have like logical ones where one thing leads to another. He is Scream. So now this thing results into this happening, or this is the result of this. And as you can tell, these additive and these logical ones are very close. You will, it's not likely that you will have to decide whether it's a logicative or whether it's an additive on the SHSAT. Very close, but just make sure if it is opposing or if it's these additives and logical ones. Okay. Uh, when would you use the transition word hypothetically? That isn't a transition word. That's like a that's like a that's just like an adjective. It's not a transition. Or that's like an adverb or an that kind of thing. Cause and effect. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And I would highly recommend going to the comma on my YouTube page. I have like a playlist of comma stuff. Highly recommend checking that out. I think I was very careful putting that together to make sure everything was really legit. So it should be good for you guys as far as that goes. I did want to actually give you guys a comma question. Hold on. What's that? These are my notes, by the way, for the stream. Okay, here we go. Here's a good comma question for you guys. Okay. What is wrong with this sentence? Any free resources I could recommend? Dude, not free. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that does like free training. I think everybody's like, you gotta buy their book or take their class, or you know how it is. It's a run on. So how would you fix it, Raman? Comma after up. That's what Heyo says. And Heyo, why is that? And Raman also agrees. So why is that? What's your explanation on why? Dependent clause. Well, if the clock says 9 a.m. is a dependent clause, but Fortnite Sweaty Kid brought it up as well. When you have comma and, that's the same thing as a period. Exactly. Bishop wakes up is a full sentence. Yeah, exactly. Heyo. So you have a noun and a verb. Bishop wakes. Up is a preposition, I think. So we have a noun that does a verb. That's a sentence. Now, if we were to get rid of everything before the if the clock says 9 a.m., that is a dependent clause. That is not a complete sentence because this word if makes it a dependent marker. Like imagine if you just stopped talking. If you said, if the clock says 9 a.m., the person you're speaking to would be like, what? What happens? Like if I were to go, when the clock says 9 a.m., okay, what happens when the clock is 9 a.m.? So that's a dependent clause. Um, so we do need a comma to separate it from the he is happy, which is a complete sentence. And so, yeah, everybody's right. You got to put that comma after up. That's it. Noun plus verb equals a complete sentence. Yes, except if there's a dependent marker. And that now makes it a dependent clause, which is what Heyo brought up. Yep. Okay. So as far as reading comp, everybody keeps asking me reading comp. You have to read, dude. You have to read with intention to remember. And that is the only way that you can get better reading comp. I highly recommend going on College Board's website and reading their reading comps, reading their reading prompts, and answering the questions and looking at the answers. Just go through them like a madman, reading all of those reading prompts and answering their questions. Yeah, you just need to focus. But unfortunately, that's the hardest part, though, focusing. Like, gun to your head, you got to focus, you'll do it. But, like, during a test, after you've read 3 passages and you have one more to read, like, 1 or 2 more to read, you're going to start fuzzing out. Would I have enough time to get better at reading comp? Yeah, dude. You do, but you got to work on it every time you can, like every day if possible, dude. Like your intention has to be there to improve. How can you raise your attention span? By working on attention. Pick something difficult or pick something boring and read it. Like go to your library to the books nobody checks out. It's like bridges, tunnels, and infrastructure, and read that book and really test yourself. Say, do I remember what I just read? And go back and check and read it and push yourself. For me, it's philosophy. I think philosophy is so lame, and it's very dense. But if I go and I read it and I really work on reading it, now you can get a lot better and read it a lot easier. So that's what I would recommend. Will info stories be on the SHSAT? Probably. Yeah, probably. All right. Okay, so anything else we should work on? I'm going to be back on Thursday. This Saturday was just like a fluke just because I didn't make it. I didn't make it on time. But we'll be back. We'll be back next week. You guys have any other questions or things you're working on really quick before I go? I think what helps us keep focus in memory is like writing one phrase or word for each paragraph to summarize. Yeah, that does actually. Some people that helps them a lot. Some people they just get distracted by their notes and thinking about what they're going to write in their notes. But for some people, it's like beautiful. It's like, oh, this is the paragraph on aerodynamics. Oh, this is the paragraph on fuel. Oh, this is the paragraph on whatever. So if you can do that, go for it, bro. What was that question from Better? Is New York State exam passages of the same levels? I actually don't know. I don't ever work with those Better. I can't help you there. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna dip out of here, bros. I will see you on Thursday. We're going to be back at it. I'm thinking for October, maybe I'll do more streams just to work a little bit harder. But overall, really great work today. Go back to my previous streams if you are looking for some stuff. Fortnite Sweaty Kid, you have a question. Last question of the stream. I got you, bro. What do you got? Is near perfect score in the math going to help me if I do average on ELA as a 9th grade SHSAT? You're going to be close. And I would go for perfect. I would not be satisfied with near perfect. But the way that the test is scored, that last question that you get correct is worth a ton. So really try to get perfect. And then bring your ELA up as much as humanly possible, of course. But will that be enough? I cannot say, because I don't know what the scores are going to be like and what your competition is going to be. If there was like, oh, just hit this number and you'll make it, but that changes every single year, so it's impossible to say. Good for styes above a 75. Yeah, and it's just where 40 plus math, but 30 plus on ELA. Yeah, but keep in mind that the way that the test is scored, is super important. I have a video on, I think it's called Hack the SHSAT. Watch that video, please. It will help you with strategy. Is 40 to 47 on math and 39 to 40 ELA good? It's good. Yeah, it's good. Easy forms. They played your video in the Dream program. Oh, dude, no way. Which video did they play, Rahman? But obviously there's the test forms. Oh, hack the SHSAT. Nice. Obviously there's like test forms, but what is the most important is the closer you get to a perfect score, every one of your questions you get right is worth more. So let's just make an example, and let's say that there are 10 questions on the SHSAT, and everybody and their mom gets the first 5 right. And it doesn't matter what order you take them in. You can work backwards, but everybody gets the first 5 correct. And each of these questions is worth 1 point. The 6th question is worth 2 points. The 7th question is worth 3 points. The 8th question is worth 4 points. The 9th is worth 5 points. And the 10th is worth 6 points. Now, this is very exaggerated, but if you only get the first 5 right, you get a score of 5. Here, you get a score of 7. Here, you get a score of 10, 12. Or actually, no, I'm doing this wrong. Here, you would get a score of 7. Here, you'd get a score of, it'd be the 7th question, then 3, so this would be 10. This would be 14. This would be 19, and this would be 25. So your score goes up vastly quicker when you get closer to perfect. So very, 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 very important to do that. Tyler, you should do a Q&A stream someday. I feel like that's, I don't know if people want it, yes. Would it be good enough for specialized, though, in weak subject? Yeah. Because most of these questions are last on a... Well, just to be clear better, you can start at the last question and work your way backwards, and this still applies. It's about the percentage correct. So I could get a 9 and miss the very first question, but then I start getting points for every one I get correct. It's kind of hard to explain. If your weak subject is close to 40 and strong is close to perfect, you probably got yourself a good score. I would say that that's a fair characteristic. Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, yeah, definitely watch that video. It changes the way you look at it. Now, it means you do want to specialize in either ELA or math, but you cannot let your weak subject be too weak. At a certain point, that starts costing you. So you need to be average or better in your weak subject, and then you need to find one subject where you're like, I am absolutely going to focus on crushing this completely. And that will maximize your score more than anything else. So something to think about. All right, bros, I am out of here. I will see you on Thursday. How do you improve at ELA besides reading better and learning vocabulary? You don't need vocab. You need like commas and semicolons and stuff. I have playlists on ELA. I'd highly recommend it. But as far as reading, you just got to focus. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, bros. I will see you on Thursday.